happy are you? Ek's Minke Jacobs, lekker om jou vandag hier te hê. Vandag gaan ons die show so klein bietjie anders doen. Hear me out. Ek wil so bietjie dabble, begin dabble in social commentary. En vandag dink ek aan Junie wat jeugmaand is. En as ons praat oor die jeug, nou met 'n kollega gepraat, né? Hy sê vir my, jy is nog jeug tot en met die ouderdom van 34. Dit is soos polities, né? Wanneer jy nog geklassifiseer word as being part of the youth tot en met 34. So, ek is baie gelukkig om te kan sê dat ek nog deel is van die youth en my gas vandag is definitief ook nog deel van die youth. Sy is so klein bietjie jonger as ek. Ons gaan vandag gesels oor ras. En ek weet die tyd waar ons Suid-Afrika onsself tans bevind, is sensitief, to say the least. Maar my uitgangspunt is altyd, wat kan ek, en op hierdie show ook, wat kan ek as individu doen om beter by te dra tot die samelewing? Ek kan nie noodwendig 'n verskil maak aan wat in die politieke sfeer aan die gang is nie. Ek as individu het nie noodwendig 'n inspraak op wat in die ekonomie aan die gang is nie. Daar is rowwe gesprekke wat ek nie qualified is om te hê nie. Maar wat ek wel qualified is om te hê, is 'n gesprek met 'n kollega wat nie soos ek lyk nie. En ek en sy gaan dan nou aan jou voorstel. Ek en sy gaan vandag bietjie gesels oor wat ons as vrouens in ons laat 20's wel in gemeen het. Want ek is nie van plan om binnekort te immigreer nie. Ek gaan 10-1 kinders in hierdie land grootmaak en so gaan sy ook. En hoe lyk die toekoms? Die waarde lê regtig in education. Wat gaan ek vir my kind leer as dit kom by mense in ons land wat anders as sy of hy lyk? Hoe hanteer ons mense? Wat kan ek as individu doen weer eens vir 'n beter ek en 'n beter samelewing, ten minste daar waar ek myself bevind? So dis my lekker om iemand aan jou voor te stel. Caitlin Melido.
Woep, 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 woep.
Hey Caitlin.
Hi Minke.
So Caitlin lyk nie soos ek nie. Caitlin is kleerling. En kan ek daai woord sê?
I think kleerling is an appropriate word to use, I feel.
Do you identify as such?
I do identify as such.
Okay.
I, as an individual, like you were saying, I don't accept or take it as being wrong because that is our racial categories. Essentially, when you're going to the bank and you have to fill in a classification, you have to fill it in. So I don't think kleerling in this, and it's the Afrikaans word for it. I know in the past, we may have taken it a certain way, but I think that kleerling is coloured in Afrikaans, and I don't take any offence to that. And I think it's also the tone and the manner in which it's being used. And you asked me, is ek kleerling? En ek is 'n kleerling.
Sien, want dis nou juist hoekom ek ook hierdie gesprek wil hê, is want jy's ook oopkop soos ek, né? En ons kan gesprekke hê en ons is vriende ook. En dis juist hoekom ek met jou wil gesels, want ons dinge, miskonsepsies wat ek vir lank in my hart mee saamgeleef het, of idees wat ek geraak het oor mense in jou rasgroep. En ons is natuurlik anders. En so ek dink vandag wil ons net 'n bietjie van daai miskonsepsies uit die weg ruim, want ek as wit mens in hierdie land is op 'n plek waar ek so versigtig voel ek moet wees. Is kleerling 'n woord wat ek mag sê, want kyk wat het met Tyler gebeur, né? For example.
Tyler.
Né? Nou, Amerikaanse politiek, die Amerikaners hou nie van die woord colored nie.
Yeah. And that again ties to which is another layer to it, ties to their history and their past and what African Americans and people of color in America have lived through, and what the tone and the manner in which those words were used against them.
Yeah.
So using that word as a person outside of South Africa is maybe not the best move. But in South Africa, that was our racial classification and still is to this day. And widely is accepted. We have a National Coloured Congress where if you have a National Coloured Congress in anywhere else in the world, it's going to be a little maybe frowned upon. But we have a National Coloured Congress here because we have a community of coloured people that are proudly coloured and accept that word for its classification, what it is, and the cultural background and the cultural make of the word. So, yeah, sorry to Tyler that she's in America now and using the word, but if she comes home, she can use it as often as she wants to.
You'll be fine, girl. Nou, ek wil net voor ons regtig oor miskonsepsies begin praat wat bestaan tussen ons is in verskillende rassegroepe, wit en kleerling. Wil ek net sê, ek praat vandag net vir myself. Ek kan nie vir al die ander wit mense wat soos ek lyk en dalk dieselfde taal as ek praat of Engels praat, ek kan nie vir hulle praat nie, ek praat uit my eie ervaring uit. So moet asseblief nie vandag offended raak as ek 'n opinie het wat nie dieselfde as joune is nie. Ek praat nie namens jou nie, net namens myself.
And the same for me as well. Like we only have the experiences that we have and that we've grown up to learn and things like that. So I can only speak for myself. I can only speak. I'm also not. I didn't live through apartheid. I don't know, the intricate life of someone that lived through that period. So I can only speak from what I've learned and what I know and what my experience as a young coloured woman.
Hoe oud is jy?
I'm 26, turning 27 this
So you were
year.
born in 1999. 1998. Okay.
I'm a 90s baby.
I'm 1996. So ons is albei gebore post-apartheid. So
Yes.
ons kan net praat vir die lewe wat ons nou leef. Ons weet nie hoe dit was nie. Ons ken net die stories wat vertel is. Maar wil jy dalk begin met, want ons het gesê ons gaan oor miskonsepsies praat. Moet ek
Ja.
eers myne deel of wil jy?
No, you can go ahead and do yours first.
Okay.
Let's unpack.
Kom ek begin net nou. Ek het in die Vrystaat groot geword, en dis 'n baie kleiner gemeenskap. En correct me if I'm wrong, maar kleerling mense wat in die Vrystaat bly, dit was wat ek raak gesien het, verskil van die wat in die Kaap bly. En die geskiedenis is ook baie anders, want ek weer eens correct me if I'm wrong, kyk hoe ek heeltyd die behoefte om te apologize.
Ja.
Dit's nogals intens. Dis
Ja.
nie hoe ek my lewe wil leef nie, want ek is lief vir alle mense. Maar anyway, I see them as Jesus see them, or I at least try my absolute best. Maar so ek het in die Vrystaat groot geword met die idee, ek weet dis nie vandag die waarheid nie, maar dat alle kleerling mense Afrikaans praat. Dis die waarheid, né?
It's not true, but I think majority of coloureds do. Like, I grew up in my grandparents. They are Afrikaans, but they chose to raise their children English. And then from that point on, we were all raised English.
Ja.
So I think it's again another thing of majority of South Africa is Afrikaans. Afrikaans is a widely spoken language, other than our other official languages. But English doesn't really surpass that, I feel. In my opinion, I don't think English surpasses that. I just think it's the new age generations that are speaking more English than before. And I think it's also with more social media, people coming to the country, that kind of thing that is making English more predominantly spoken. But I think Afrikaans is more widely spoken than English.
Ek dink jy so.
I think so.
Omdat so groot onder die kleerlinggemeenskap.
Under all communities. People of colour that are Afrikaans, were raised Afrikaans. I had a lot of people in my school that come from Rustenburg and that are black, but they speak Afrikaans.
I had a conversation with someone the other day that's much older than me, and we actually spoke about Afrikaans in Cape Town and how I told him my understanding or my thinking at that point 10 years ago was that all coloured people speak Afrikaans. En toe sê hy vir my, onthou ons is albei wit, so jy moet nou vir my sê of dit nie jou ervaring is nie, maar die kleerling mense wat gekies het om hulle kinders in Engels groot te maak, like your grandparents for example, it was because it used to be the language of the oppressor, and that I don't want to call them rebels, but it was kind of soos a rebellion against that, meaning I finally have control over this, so ek gaan my kinders in 'n Engelse skool sit. Ek weet nie of jou ouers ooit vir jou vertel hoekom.
There was never really that conversation about it. It was just because it was my entire family that was doing that. There's a very small, no, actually all the people in my age group under the youth, they are all, my entire family, from my mom's side at least, were all raised English. And all of their parents are Afrikaans. But on my dad's side, everyone, they are raised Afrikaans, spoke Afrikaans, wada. But I think also, another thing to think about is the colonial rule is also a thing that needs to be taken into consideration because, they raise their children English.
What's the colonial rule?
So when the British and stuff wanted to come here,
Yes.
them. That's why we drink tea.
The English ones.
The English ones, yeah.
Okay. So their influence. I think we sometimes forget them.
We forget their influence as well. They were here too.
Hallo, Boereoorlog. Dit was nogals rof.
Yeah.
En ek dink kan ek net van sê baie voortrekker mense wat Afrikaans gepraat het of Nederlands of whatever, het 'n groot invloed gehad of het baie gesuffer onder die British. And sorry, the colonial rule.
No, but the point that I'm trying to make is that is something that we need to look at as well. Like, why aren't we speaking Khoi? Why, you know what I mean? Those are the types of things that disappeared because of colonial rule. And then we had the Voortrekker movement and all of that, and Afrikaans became the language of then also people of color, of our oppressors. So is raising someone in English, like what my grandparents did, is it really a rebellious move in inverted commas? Or was it just these are one set of oppressors that our most recent oppressors
was
Afrikaans and we're straying away from that and we're raising our children in English when
the other oppressors
were. But the other oppressors also were everywhere. You know what I mean? They took over everywhere, and that's why English is what English is, in my opinion. So I don't know if it's really straying away from any type of oppression. Because there's Khoi. Why aren't we speaking Khoi? You know what I mean?
Ja. Mense kon, to be quite honest. Mense het my vra as jy nou enige taal kon aanleer. Mense sê maklik iets soos Frans. Frans is so 'n mooi taal.
Jy weet,
Mandarin. Nee, dankie, is baie moeilik. Ek wens met my hele hart dat ek net soos 'n ander African language kon praat en ek weet daai onus rus op my om dit actually aan te leer. Maar dit is ook moeilik. Nietemin, so dis baie duidelik dat Suid-Afrika 'n baie komplekse geskiedenis het en daar ek dink ons word op skool van sekere insidente bewus gemaak soos apartheid en Nelson Mandela en daai tipe dinge en ons weet van die voortrekkers, maar daar is baie klein goedjies wat voor die voortrekkers gebeur het. Daar's baie goedjies wat tussen voortrekkers en apartheid ook gebeur het. Baie invloede waarvan ons nie noodwendig leer nie. In elk geval, maar hier is nou nie 'n geskiedenisklas nie. Het jy miskonsepsies wat jy dink wit mense moet asseblief net hoor?
So, one of my biggest misconceptions was that if you are white and you're Afrikaans, you own a farm. That is 100% a fact in my head. And then you are also rich. Because how can you be white and Afrikaans in South Africa and you don't have money? You don't have generational wealth. That is just that is so far from my mind. And I struggle sometimes to I have to call myself out because as much as I am open-minded and I try my best to see all views and see everyone for who they are as individuals, there are those things that you're, like we were saying earlier, that you're raised with. This is indoctrinated in a sense. So those are my two misconceptions, that all white Afrikaans speaking people own farms and they are very, very rich, and that's just the life we live. I do think you're rich.
Maar kom ons define dit gou rich, want in hierdie land, om net jou vraag te beantwoord, ek's redelik middelklas. As jy kyk na wat die rykstes van die rykstes verdien en daar's 'n baie groot gap tussen arm in ons land. Die division is huge. Nou, as jy na die armstes van die armstes in ons land kyk, dan is ek ryk, ja. Maar nie, dis nou 'n aanname wat ek maak. Nie teenoor jou is ek noodwendig ryk nie. En kom ons praat net oor generational wealth, want hier is 'n massive debate wat ek met 'n kollega gehad het in die Vrystaat, en dis wat hy my probeer laat verstaan het, is dit is nie daar vir mense van kleur nie. Swart of wit, oor die algemeen is dit nie daar nie. En daarvoor het ek begrip en ek verstaan dit, en dat my ouma en oupa op 'n beter plek was as joune. Dit moet ons acknowledge, dit is die waarheid. Maar ons is nou al 30 jaar aan die kant van apartheid. Maar om jou miskonsepsie, ek het nie 'n plaasie. Ek het nie
So nothing in the Free State that you go back to.
I have a dad who had enough money to help me with my first car. Did you have that?
I did not have that.
Okay, it's great. Kom ons kry die goeders uit. I had a family who could send me to university with I didn't have debt, my dad had debt. Did you have that?
Okay, yeah, I had that.
Okay,
yeah.
Goed. I could move.
Goed, yeah. Debt, yes, we love it. We love debt, yes.
Nee, maar ek is bly ons daar is ons op dieselfde front.
Yeah.
I didn't experience racism in university.
I was then under the impression that I did not experience racism. I thought I went through majority of my life not experiencing racism. But what I'd come to learn is microaggressions and the subtle forms of racism that is not, you are a
bad word.
Explicit word, Do
people tell you that to your face? White
They've
people?
never told, no, never. I've never been told that, and that is what I thought,
okay,
that's racism.
Okay.
You can't call me an H word, or you can't call me a K word, that's racism. But then there was those little things like,
like I'm trying to understand, where you felt left out, or
where I felt left out, where I felt that's not a space for me. That's where people that are not going to welcome me in Those are spaces where...
No, but did they give you a reason to believe that? Or
they did give me reason to believe that. It's one of those things where you don't you look one side.
Okay.
And I studied at Stellenbosch, and there's this whole... Okay, I'm not going to get into that, but I studied at Stellenbosch, and there are these little clubs and things that where people go to, okay? And...
Like disco clubs.
Oh, about disco.
You must just party clubs.
Like party clubs, yeah.
We're not 50-year-old.
We are.
Okay.
That you... it's kind of like when you step in, it's like...
Like they actually frown at you.
Not frown, but there's an energy shift.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Verduidelik nou vir my want ek het dit
So
nie
I walk into a space. We're at a club, and you walk in.
Pitbull.
Yeah, fireball. You walk in and there's a group here and there's a group there, and everyone is gezellig and everything is fun and fresh. And you walk in with your friend that looks like the people around you, and it's kind of like, oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Let's do a double take.
Okay,
What are you?
verstaan.
Those kind of experiences, and even in those moments, I felt it, but I didn't acknowledge it, or I didn't understand it fully. So that was a weird thing with how I got to learn about racism firsthand, because my grandparents always, because I lived with my grandparents for like foundational years until like grade 3, and then I moved to Cape Town from the West Coast, which is also that time very white, a lot of white Afrikaans speaking people that I grew up around. So I think that in part had an influence on like how I didn't see racism happening, because I was raised like, no, you are one of them. Like you deserve to go to that school. You know all of that. So I didn't have that knowledge or have that understanding. Although I learned about it, it wasn't something that I could apply directly to my own life, because I felt like, no, I've got white Afrikaans friends. Like, what do you mean? Me and Minka, we play together. What are you talking about? What racism? What is that? You know?
Okay, so myne was dat alle kleerlingmense Afrikaans groot gemaak word as 'n huistaal, which is not the case. The moment you move to Cape Town, you see the amount of Muslim people in the community, né? En my ander vriendin, haar ma, dit's my baie interessant, haar ma praat suiwer Afrikaans.
Ja.
Maar sy doen glad nie.
Ja.
Nou die dag toe hoor ek haar ma met haar praat, dis ek so What? And not me demanding her to speak Afrikaans to me. I was just surprised that, oh wow, okay, so ek kan, want ek het hierdie idee dat as ek met jou, nou dat ek in die Kaap bly en ek weet dis nie waar nie, nou wil ek Engels praat met elke persoon. En dis my moeilik, want ek express myself beter, ek druk myself beter uit in Afrikaans.
Yeah.
So dit was kind of, nou sal ek Afrikaans praat. Nou, ek kan met jou ook Afrikaans praat.
Ja.
Jy verstaan 100%.
Ek verstaan Afrikaans en ek praat ook Afrikaans as ek wil. Ja, want ek is Engels groot gemaak.
Caitlin doen die nuus in my show, lekker Afrikaans en Engels en
ek klink so 'n bietjie suiwer, maar
en joune was dat alle wit mense plaas. Is jy nou sê beloof dat I have access to a farm somewhere in my family.
I hold the belief. I'm not going to say that I believe, because things change, and I held the belief rather that every white Afrikaans speaking person
Who told you that?
has access to generational wealth.
Okay, but that's different.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm referring to. Excuse microphone. That is what I'm referring to with the rich. You are rich because of your generational wealth. Anyone can be, I can win the lotto tomorrow and I can be rich, and then I can be rich for a month and no longer have money anymore. So the rich that I'm referring to is the generational wealth, and this is of your forefathers during the apartheid era, or whenever, that got access to farms and were able to keep those farms for their children and their great-grandchildren and their all the way down, where we didn't have that. So that is where that came from, is the teaching of they had access to things that my forefathers did not have access to, and now they still have that. Not to say that needs to be taken away from anyone or anything like that, but you have had access to that, is my conception. And now you benefit from that, because a house is expensive and land is expensive in this day and age. And even just to get a foot in the door to be like, okay, I want to get a home loan is a major issue. Whereas, like Johan Rupert was saying the other day, he's building when he was in the US.
What a team, What a team.
He was talking about, I'm building 3 cottages for my grandchildren on a farm in Graaff-Reinet.
But can you understand that that's not me?
I can understand that because I know you intimately and we've spoken. But if I'm going to see you in a KW jacket and I hear Afrikaans coming out of your mouth, I am going to assume that you have generational wealth. I'm not going to use the word rich anymore, but you have generational wealth. Your parents are no longer working because they're wealthy, and you're simply just working because you got to work. People work, so you got to work. You know, that is the immediate
association.
Yeah, that comes to mind.
But now let's look at our politicians. Now, most of them are not the ones in power, not necessarily part of one or my of jou race nie. Maar daar is 'n spesifieke een wat so rukkie terug vir sy kinders karre gekoop het. Het hy nie soos 'n murk eendag na sy kind se skool toe gevat en dit
I don't know. Could be. But I think in those instances, those are people that took advantage of an opportunity to get to the point where they are. I don't want to get into the whole politics of it and corruption and wada. But they had an opportunity and they were able to grasp that opportunity. Like our president. He is a rich man.
Yeah.
And this is why I want to walk past. He was in Canal Walk the other day. Just off topic quickly. He was walking around. And I love me some Uncle Cyril. If there is one goal in my life, is to just sit down and have tea with him. I don't want anything from him. I don't want his money. I don't want anything.
Are you going to ask him about the money in his couch?
I'm not going to ask him about the money in his couch, okay? I just want to sit down and I want to ask him how he's doing today. He was walking around in Canal Walk the other day, tying little girls' shoelaces, walking around with a whole complement of security guards.
I actually, during COVID, I felt for him. Like, whether you... Ek stem saam met enige actually van sy besluite nie. Maar during COVID het hy ons daai meetings gehad. Yes, en die mense het hom uitgehaal. Ek het op 'n oomblik het ek gedink, guys, soos hierdie en dis actually waar dis nou 'n goeie aanknopspunt tot wat ek en jy as individu kan doen, want die mense het hom uitgehaal die manier toe hy gesukkel het om sy masker op te sit. My heart broke for him.
Yeah.
Maybe,
he's an old man is what we also need to remember.
Maybe he didn't even care about the memes. He probably didn't see the memes, or maybe he did, but I felt bad. And ek was soos, ek weet, soos, whether you agree with what our policies were during COVID or not, that's not the point. The point is, guys, what's the humanity?
Yeah.
Soos, los net die memes en kom ons acknowledge net gou-gou soos hoe groot verantwoordelikheid dit regtig is en of hulle nou foute gemaak het of nie, wat hulle 10 het en dan het lekker liedjies daar uitgekry, because when people zol, they put saliva on the paper. You can always trust a South African to make either a song or a meme. Anyway, maar Caitlin, wat doen ek en jy vir ons kinders? Do you want kids? Kyk, kom ons praat eers gou weer oor die generational wealth. Ek kan nie vir alle wit mense praat nie. En ek sien baie wit mense, omdat dis my ras. Ek sien baie van hulle sukkel. TikTok is crazy. Het jy dit al gesien?
I've heard about it. I'm not on TikTok, so I don't see the things, but I've heard about the fights and stuff that happen on TikTok. What is a TikTok boom of iets?
Ja, daai is crazy. Maar die arme mense wat na TikTok toe gaan verbedel en dis dalk ek sien die wit mense, maar ek is nie blind vir die feit dat daar baie ander rasse ook daar op bedel nie. En dis is 'n goeie manier om geld te maak, hoor. Want jou lives maak geld en al, maybe I should do that. Maar in elk geval, so ek sê vir jou daar's baie wit mense wat baie swaar kry. Nes daar baie kleurling mense is wat swaar kry, nes daar baie swart mense is wat baie swaar kry. Dit is die feit. En generational wealth, ek wil vir jou sê ek verstaan die idee. En ek dink 'n mate daarvan is waar. If we have to compare.
Yeah.
En ek weet die mense wat na my podcast luister, daar mag dalk mense minder bevoorreg as ek wees, maar ek dink ons almal is min of meer kind of soos hier in die middel, ons is redelik middelklas, die wit mense wat na my podcast luister. En ek wil nou vir jou sê, as jy nou mooi moet gaan dink, jy wat nou na my luister, gaan dink net gou mooi, dit waartoe jy toegang gehad het, van dat jy gebore is, die hospitaal waarin jy gebore is, die skool waartoe jy gegaan het, die sport wat jy gespeel het, die toere waarop jy gegaan het. die kar wat jy gekry het, as jy een gekry het, as jy vir jouself een moes koop, well done, ek's trots op jou. Die universiteit, maar ek kon Amerika toe gaan wanneer dit my gepas het en my pa moes in skuld ingaan vir dit. Maar die feit dat hy die vermoë gehad het om te doen, wys tog na 'n mate van generational wealth. En ek wil net hê ons moet dit in gedagte hou volgende keer as jy met iemand dalk in 'n gesprek is wat nie dit gehad het nie. En ons praat nou nie politiek nie man, soos ek praat van die mense wat jy op 'n daaglikse basis mee interact.
The humanity of it.
Ja, jou kollegas, jou buurvrou, as daar iemand is wat jou in die huis skoonmaak, jou nanny, al daai tipe goeders. En dit is die mense na wie jy moet kyk deur anderser oë. En ek sê nie een van ons wat nou hierna luister is jy is 'n racist of ek is 'n racist of ek sê point glad die vingers nie. Ek wil net hê ons moet die humanity begin raak sien. So nou is ek heeltemal van my storie af.
I just want to say on the topic of that, not to look at people with a different set of eyes, but to look at the people around you as people. They are not below you for what they do. Just because she's your nanny, just because he cleans your garden, doesn't mean he's any lesser of a person than you. It doesn't mean you go and make him a sandwich because you feel like he doesn't have food at home. You ask him, would you like me to make you a sandwich? Would you like something to drink? You know, those types of, and I think those are the micro aggressions that is often, you don't internalize it because you think you are doing good, but sometimes that demeans someone else. You know what I mean? And the way that you speak to someone also, that carries weight. Like we know the tongue carries so much power. So the way that you speak to someone, don't talk to them like they are below you, because they're not. And sometimes you don't notice it, you don't realize it, but it's in those the little things like I don't know, I'm trying to think of another example.
Ek gaan nou baie ouer mense hiermee offend en sorry as ek doen, maar die persoon wat jou tuin skoonmaak of die persoon wat jou huis skoonmaak, het hulle eie koppie en hulle eie bord waar hulle eet.
Those things like that.
Dit as ek dit in huise sien toe ek jonger was, ek kom nie nou vreeslik baie in ander mense se huise nie. As a matter of fact, not many of my friends in Cape Town can afford help at this point. Let me just put that out. If we do, it's a cleaning service once a week. Maar dan die persoon wat ons huis skoonmaak, sien ek in huise toe ek jonger was, daar's altyd 'n aparte koppie en daai koppie is whack. Dis soos 'n staal koppie.
It's the one that they don't want. They don't want in their cupboard really.
En hierdie microaggressions is nou vir my baie interessant, want dis presies wat dit is. Dit is jy kan nie uit my porselein koppie drink nie, want jy maak dit. Hoekom nie?
Yeah.
Jy gaan nooit ding was met Sunlight as jy regtig nou ge-worry is oor germs.
Yeah.
En Caitlin se germs is nie anders as my germs nie, by the way.
We all have germs. Thanks.
Dis wat ek hier uit gaan neem en dis nou vir my baie cool is microaggressions. Soos gaan identifiseer plekke in jou lewe as jy ernstig is oor jou en jou kinders se toekoms in hierdie land. Hoor nou wat ek nou vir jou sê. Dankie daarvoor, Caitlin. Gaan evalueer jou lewe en aspekte in jou lewe waar jy microaggressions toepas. Nee? En ek dink same goes for you towards me. Waar jy enige persoon as net bietjie minder hanteer omdat jy 'n assosiasie in jou kop het. Een wat dalk in jou brein gegraveer is toe jy groot geword het, of waar ook al jy ervaring gehad het en so is jou brein gekondisioneer. En as jy moenie met iemand and that goes for almal, even teenoor Spanish mense, moenie met 'n ander aksent met die persoon praat nie. Sorry,
don't get me started.
Shoot is bad. That's very bad.
Hi, Maria. Are you going to... I'm doing it. The microaggression, and I do humbly apologize. But don't do that. And also, the other thing that just came to mind is the sitting in the back of the car when we're dropping you to the taxi rank.
Yeah.
Oh, that grinds my gears.
Because why?
Because why must we sit at the back?
Maar ek moet net gaan opstaan vir party van my vriende.
Yes.
And it's sad that that's the case and it needs to be addressed. But the helper usually goes for the back seat.
That's okay.
But this is a systemic problem.
Yeah.
That's a systemic problem where it comes from she's always felt less than me. Maar dan wil ek vir jou sê vir haar, nee, sit voor by my. That's the solution. En hoe meer jy dit doen, hoe meer gaan sy haarself sien as deel van jou gesin, en as sy regtig 'n opregte vrou is, gaan sy selfs meer van haarself in jou huis wil gee, en sy gaan 'n beter werker wil wees. Enige werksopset, as jy gesien word as 'n mens met behoeftes en begeertes, en jy het ook 'n gesin, en your time is also valuable, en as dit raak gesien word, dan is jy amper meer bereid om jou beste te gee in wat jy doen.
It's a healthy working environment.
Yeah, exactly. If my employer acknowledges my work and my mental health, dan voel ek, hy's nice. Soos ek gaan nou hard probeer werk sodat hy ook kan goed doen in sy posisie. Healthy work environment, economy of words. There we go. Dis hoekom Caitlin journalism geswat het. Want sy kan so 'n topic vat en net in so 'n klein sinnetjie sê waar my brein is all over the place. Dink jy daar's enigsins spasie waar kleerlingmense kan verbeter? If you don't think so, then say no.
No, listen. I think there's room for everyone to grow. As individuals, there is space for you to grow, and there's room for you to learn. And you will never have learned enough in your life, in any aspect of your life. And I think in this conversation, whether you are black, colored, whatever your racial classification is, I think that going back to the humanity is at the core, because we are all people, and we deserve to be treated as you would treat any other person that you deem is worthy of your respect. Everyone is worthy of your respect.
Ja, begin daar.
Everyone is worthy of it. There is
Until they prove you wrong. Can I add that?
I think even in that, even if they prove you in some other way, prove you wrong, the individual proves that they are not worthy of respect or whatever the case may be. This is just a me thing.
Yeah.
Yes, and that is why if we look at like the court of law, you are innocent until proven guilty, even though there is all these things pointing at you that you are the worst person on the planet. There is still you are innocent until you are proven guilty, until all the facts point to you are this horrible person, and we have laid it out, and you have accepted this, and this is what it is, type thing. Because I think there's also in that where you now disrespect this person because they have done these egregious things. Ne? You have now disrespected that person, and you look at that person and the person that looks like him. Okay. And now you associate the person that looks like him, that sounds like him, that talks like him, you associate him with the person that you are now disrespecting. You don't like this person anymore, and therefore this person that looks like him, you don't like him either. You're going to distance yourself from a person that looks like him because of the egregious actions that he has committed.
Yeah, that I agree with.
You know, so I think they, again, like you said, on an individual standpoint, but yeah. I'm now the economy of words is now.
Ja, maar dis fine. Nee, ek verstaan 100% wat jy sê. Ek net miskien disagree ons daarin, is ook fine. Ek stem saam dat ek sê net maar jy doen my in. Vir my om nou ongeskik te wees met elke ander kleerlingmeisie wat Engels praat, min of meer soos jy lyk, en dieselfde velkleur as jy het, en een of ander messed up association met jou ras het as gevolg wat jy aan my gedoen het. That's wrong.
Yes.
Maar, as jy vieslik met my was, ek sê jammer, maar ek gaan myself distance van jou. Maar dit raak dan moeilik in ag geneem ons land se geskiedenis. It becomes, and I acknowledge that, it becomes difficult to separate. En dat dieselfde teenoor jou, teenoor my.
Yeah, for sure.
It is very difficult to then say, okay, maar nie alle wit mense is so nie. Nie alle kleerlingmense is so nie. Let me just, jy gaan heeltyd jou so moet remind van daai. En dat dit raak baie moeilik. Hier is 'n bitter komplekse.
It's very complex, and because there's so many elements. There's the psychological element. There's the social, the society, and is it interpersonal? Hey, intrapersonal is
Met yourself.
Yeah,
Intrapersonal. Yeah.
And the interpersonal, so the psychological, the interpersonal, the historical, there's so many complexities around this. Because psychologically, if you, that red car theory, if you see a red car, you're always going to see red cars. You identify the red car, you're always going to see red cars. You see this person is doing this one thing, you're going to see a lot of people that look like this person, you're going to see them that do. Even if you're doing it subconsciously, not unconsciously.
I always mix those, subconsciously.
Subconsciously.
Unconsciously, like or unconscious.
Subconsciously, you're going to have those associations, and that is the point that I'm trying to make with the respect in spite of. You know what I mean? Because the respect and distancing yourself is different. I understand what you're saying about distancing yourself.
Yeah.
I am not going to associate with you as an individual because of your transgressions. But you are still a human being. You are still in your own right, a mother, auntie, and uncle, or whatever you are.
Yeah.
You are still that person that deserves respect as a person.
Okay,
But as an individual, you have transgressed. You have made me feel this, and I will no longer associate with you. That is the point that I'm trying to bring across.
There's no ill intent when
there's no.
I don't wish you harm.
I don't wish you harm.
But I'm allowed to distance myself.
I'm distancing myself from you because I think maybe in that way we can incorporate the humanity in it.
Op die einde van die dag as ons kyk na die toekoms, wil ek net hê ons moet vir ons kinders leer, want kan jy sien ek's broeis, like I'm broody as
broody
as can be. Well, broody is broeis, ja. Even me, I learned broody like 2 weeks ago. Broody, okay? Broody, brood in die oond.
Yeah.
That's me. So ek en my prayer is ook net soos Here wys vir my hoe gaan ek in hierdie land met al hierdie complexities wat hier aan die gang is, taking my history into account, taking the people that I meet on an everyday basis. Almal het so komplekse geskiedenisse, maar hoe maak ek 'n kind groot wat 'n toekoms het in hierdie land? En as ek sê toekoms in hierdie land, dan klink dit of ek praat so Steve Hofmeyr wat net wêreld wil oorneem. That's not what I mean. Ek bedoel nie op 'n ekonomiese front of op 'n politieke front nie. Dis ek het nie genoeg insig op hierdie stadium daaroor nie, maar stay tuned. Nee, joke. Maar hoe kan ek 'n gelukkige dogtertjie grootmaak wat kan vriende maak met Caitlin? Wat kan vriende maak met 'n Nathan? Wat kan vriende maak met 'n Zuleka? Dis nie mense wat ek ken. Sorry Zuleka. Wat kan vriende maak met
anyone?
Gee my 'n ander naam wat nie iemand is wat ons ken nie.
I don't know, now you're putting me on the spot now. I don't want to mention someone and then they hear listening to the podcast and it's like, praat jy van my? Nee,
so nie 'n ander een, obviously.
Nee.
Wat kan, wie ken ek?
With anyone, no, with anyone. You want to raise a child in this life that, let me not me putting words into your mouth.
She will make very easily friends with a white person. That's exactly what I'm trying to...
okay.
Sy moet kan vriende maak met 'n kleurling meisie.
Yes.
En sy moet die genot wat ek daarin vind, wil ek hê sy moet ervaar. Yes.
She must be able to easily make friendships. And I think that is possible in this day and age. We became friends easily. I thought you didn't like me in the beginning.
Hoekom? Maar dis die kleurling mense wat dit sê, dis almal sê dit. Of jy nou pink of wit of blou is, almal sê dit. Why?
It's your broody demeanor.
Do I look like a bad word?
No. You struck me as someone that you know your people. You know who you're... No. Race aside.
Okay,
We're not talking about race now. We're not talking about race. We're talking about you have your friends,
groups,
you have you have the people that you know and that you have surrounded yourself by, and that's that. You know, like, hi, I don't need to know you. You know, that type of thing. No, but that's okay. It's also like it be like that. People are like that. Like it's not a white people thing. Like people do be like that. Like everyone, they be like that. Where it's people we don't. Okay, I'm going off topic again, but people aren't as friendly as we used to be.
But let's just get to what we have in common.
Okay.
Ons is eintlik almal dieselfde. Now that you mention it, there are kind of girls who are like that.
Yeah,
exactly.
People just are like that now.
Nee, maar dink jy dis 'n en dis iets wat ek weet actually nie hoe ek daaroor voel nie, maar apparently doen ek dit baie. I qualify people before I let them in.
Okay.
So
like a little questionnaire that you
yes. En jy het qualify. And that's not because of your race. That's because I value, I see your character. And dan sê ek so, okay, I will let you in.
You are protective of your peace.
Yes. No. Sê in die Bybel nie dit nie. I'm pretty sure that's not what it means. Maar
somewhere, somehow. There's peace in there.
Ja. En hierso's vir jou quote. If a friendship costs you your peace, it's too expensive. Okay, dan
you gotta let it go.
Goodbye met daai vriendskap.
Sien jy?
Sien jy baie ek en Caitlin gemeen. Sien jy hoe lekker kan ons chat? So, ons moet nou hierdie afsluit want ons is amper 'n uur. So I just want to put a challenge to you.
Me?
Nee.
Listeners.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
To you listening. Go make a friend of the opposite race. Gaan leer net so bietjie.
The point is that as we grow and as we surround ourselves with, or not surround ourselves, as we grow and we see the people around us, the younger people around us growing up, we should pass on a torch of
Spoken like a true advocate.
I'm trying my best. What we should do as the youth growing and learning, and the youth that is still growing and learning, that are looking up to us, that are looking up to people in our age group, that are engaging with us on social media and those types of things, we should spread a message of humanity and respect and learning.
Yeah.
That
Learning.
you are different from me. What makes us, what aligns us, what are our similarities and what are our differences, and how can we come to live in harmony with one another? How can we, despite our differences, despite the things that we disagree on, how can we move forward in this life, and how can we build a world that is centered around you are my comrade, you are with me and I am with you, and not a sentiment of I don't like what you like and therefore we cannot live in harmony together, because that is all around the world. That is what you see. It's a disagreement in essence. I don't agree with what you're saying, you don't agree with what I'm saying, therefore I hate you and I hate the people that look like you, and so we are now going to war.
Yeah.
So I think that is, for me at least, at the crux of it, is knowing the differences, learning about what those differences are, learning about what the similarities are, and how can we use that to our benefit to create a world, or even just, it doesn't have to be the world, because everything starts small. It starts small with talking to your colleague, learning about your colleague's life and who they've known and what they can bring to your life and what you can bring to their life, and how you can create in your little microcosm, your little bubble, how you can create harmony from that point, and then incorporating other people into that. Oh, do you know my friend? No, she's wonderful. We should all hang out, and we should all hang out, and we should bring more people to hang out. And I feel like that is how we are going to grow, and stop teaching your children about your thinking and the way that you grew up, because that is not the world we live in anymore.
Want weet jy wat vat dit? Nou soos jy gepraat het, dink ek net daar's soveel pride in al die rasse van wat ek sien. And what it takes to start small is for one person to be less. En
Not even less.
nee, maar in terme van jou gevoelens, dit wat jy nie less as in you are
Vulnerable.
beneath me nie. Ja, soos ek gaan nou my pride in my sak steek en alles wat ek geleer het, al my idees wat ek gehad het in die Vrystaat, nou om 'n voorbeeld te maak, ek gaan dit nou hiertoe bring en ek gaan dit net gou bietjie onderdruk en ek gaan vir haar sê vir my kollega, maar hallo. En so gaan die gesprek aan. Toe jy nou praat van jou klein microcosm, van jou bubble, want ons kan nie jou gekerm op Facebook gaan niks doen omtrent wat in die politieke sfeer aan die gang is nie. En die oomblik wanneer jy vir iemand anders net so klein bietjie humanity wys, gee jy vir hulle permission om dieselfde te doen met die mense om hulle. Want al wat dit, en dis ek hou niks van en ek's jammer as hierdie 'n quote is van iemand baie cool en ek weet dit net nie, maar be the change you want to see in the world. Wie's dit? Michael Jackson.
Is it?
As dit Nelson Mandela is, gaan ek nou my kop in 'n gat druk. Sounds like something you would say.
It sounds like something you would say, but was it Dalai Lama?
I don't know.
We have too many inspirational people in this life.
Maar dit is die waarheid, né? En jy
And
gaan nie,
even with all of them, look at us.
want ja, we're screwed.
Goodness.
No, we're not. Ons is bietjie ons het 'n probleem. Maar wat ons in gemeen het is die behoefte, en dis nou waarby ek wil uitkom. Wat ons in gemeen het, ek en Caitlin, jy en die persoon langs jou, jy en jou kollega, jy en die mense om jou wat nie dieselfde ras as jy is nie. Wat julle in gemeen het, as jy nou sukkel en jy, maar ek weet nie wat het ons in gemeen. Wat julle in gemeen het, is albei die behoefte om raak gesien te word, om acknowledged te word, om gerespekteer te word en om liefgehet te word, om net om 'n paar te noem. Julle het daai in gemeen. So wys dit vir die volgende vrou wat oor jou pad kom. Wys dit vir die volgende petroljoggie. Die volgende persoon wat jou pad kruis wat nie soos jy lyk nie. Wys net 'n bietjie, maar ek sien jou raak. How gaan dit? Like, how's your day? En die oomblik wat hy of sy dit in jou raak sien, gaan hulle dit môre met iemand anders doen. En daai ripple effek is wat ons land gaan vorentoe neem. Ek sê jou nou, want ons kan nie weer eens op 'n politieke vlak te veel goed verander nie, maar ons as 'n nasie kan een vir een begin saam staan en mekaar begin respek betoon. En as iemand na jou toe kom, moenie weier om Afrikaans te praat nie. Asseblief, ek hoor nou die dag op die radio sê iemand, ek kan nie regtig nie onthou waar dit was nie. Sê, my ma praat net Engels in self-defense. Okay. Moenie weier om iemand anders te ontmoet op 'n level waar hulle is nie. So sit jou trots net so klein bietjie in jou sak baie keer en so gaan ons een vir een mekaar aansteek met hierdie respek en humanity en dan gaan jy sien hoe dit oorspoel oor honderde jare. Waar ons as 'n nasie eventually kan saam staan, want dit het begin by iets kleins wat jy
And your children saw you.
Ja, dis dit wat ek wou sê.
And they are emulating you.
Yes.
And they're going to be that change that you wanted to see in the world because they are seeing what you're doing and because at the end of the day, and we all know this, they copy what they see.
Ja.
So you be good. Be
cool,
kind.
man.
Be respectful. So your children can be respectful too. Come
Dit is
on.
presies dit. Dit gaan generasies vat. Dit
Ja.
gaan regtig, want so gaan ons vertroue in mekaar begin opbou en so gaan ons sien, maar hulle is toe nou nie eintlik almal so nie. Maar alle wit mense is nie so nie. Maar alle kledingmense is nie so nie. En so gaan dit jaar na jaar in jou kind en jy gaan 'n kleintjie grootmaak wat nie gaan in die kuierplek met pitbull wil nou gaan dit probably soos wie wees. I don't know. Wat nie vir Caitlin
Olivia Rodrigo, that's who it's going to be.
gaan skeef kyk as 'n Caitlin by die deur instap nie. En dan hoef ons nie weer die gesprekke te hê nie. Nie dat ek nie like met jou chat nie, maar jy verstaan wat ek bedoel. Okay, ek praat nou in cirkels. Okay, wat wil jy nog sê?
Be the change you want to see in the world. I googled it. It is Mahatma Gandhi.
Mahatma Gandhi.
Mahatma Gandhi. Be the change you want to see in the world. Okay? So be that change. And it's not gonna cost you. It's not gonna cost you money. It's
Net bietjie
barely
trots.
even gonna cost you energy because it's a happy, a lighter, a more wholesome energy that you're putting out to the world. And so you're gonna be receiving that. You're gonna feel lighter. You're gonna feel happier. You're gonna feel kinder because of that one little act of kindness. And also don't do that one little act of kindness out of obligation, out of, oh, I'm a good person. Did you see I spoke normally. I spoke like I'd speak to anyone. Oh, I didn't, she drank out of my cup that I drink out of. I'm so kind. Don't do it out of obligation. Do it because it's going to make your soul feel better. Do it because it's going to make a change in the world. Yes, do it with determination that this is the change that you want to see, but not out of obligation. Determination and not obligation. I feel like a motivational speaker, and this is perhaps something that I should look into. Do it out of determination and not obligation. All right?
So that's probably a quote from somewhere.
No, I just came up with that off the fly, okay?
20 years from now, someone's going to do it with determination and not obligation.
Come
Who said
on.
that? That was Caitlin. What was Caitlin? Google. Who was Caitlin Molido? En ja, ons gaan nou hierdie afeindig. Soos ek altyd jou met 'n bietjie huiswerk laat, wil ek weer eens vir jou sê. En hierdie gaan vir maak nie saak wat sê nie om wat se kleur jou vel is nie. Honestly, ek doen nie. Waar ek omgee is hoe jy ander mense hanteer en so gaan identifiseer die plekkies in jou lewe. En ek beloof jy gaan iewers een optel. Of jy nou 'n kleurlingpersoon is of jy nou 'n wit persoon is, daar gaan iewers in jou lewe gaan jy 'n plek kan identifiseer of 'n area waar jy mense van 'n ander ras op 'n sekere manier hanteer wat jy dalk nie geweet het microaggression is nie. Of wat 'n behavior wat van 'n plek af kom waar jy die persoon hanteer as gevolg van 'n assosiasie wat jy het met daai ras. Dit begin met die mense wat jy elke dag ontmoet. Dit begin deur te glimlag vir die dame wat verby jou stap. Dit begin om net een keer nie die taxi ou te vloek nie, want wat help dit? Wat help dit? Dit het ons ook op 'n vorige episode oor gepraat. Al wat jy doen is jy maak jou eie gemoed swaar en dis presies wat Caitlin nou gesê het. Ek beloof vir jou, as jy vir iemand glimlag in plaas van om hulle te vloek, daar's 'n ligte energie in jou wat bevrydend is. En die idee van hierdie podcast is altyd vir my ook om net seker te maak jy leef in vryheid, weg van mense en hulle swaar dinge rondom jou. En ek wil kind of vir jou permission gee, want dis wat ek gaan doen, om jouself te distansieer van mense wat regtig nie, en Caitlin, wat regtig nie jou respek wil, want daar is deeply rooted associations, systemic racism in ons land. En as jy keer op keer, net totdat ek vir jou ook kan opstaan, keer op keer respek aan iemand probeer betoon en dit word nie teruggegee nie. Distance jouself van die persoon, 100% ja. Bid vir hulle van 'n distance af, maar keer jou hart om almal in daai rassegroep dan op dieselfde manier te sien. Dis waar die challenge inkom. En dis waar humanity inkom. En dis iets waaroor jy maar kan bid. En vertrou dat jou hart so teenoor mense verander word. Want dis heiliglik my prayer. Is soos Here, gee my net liefde vir mense. Want dit is al hoe ons as Christene uit gaan staan. En hier is nou nie 'n preek nie, gaan Sondag kerk toe as jy 'n preek wil hê. Maar dit is al hoe jy gaan anders lyk, is as jy bietjie begin liefde en 'n ligter energie in 'n gesprek inbring. Eerder as om altyd daai een by die braai te wees en te sê, ja, het jy nou al weer gesien? Ag, is nou al weer sleg. Soos, wat gaan dit verander? In jou,
Absolutely nothing.
Al wat dit gaan verander is, jy gaan jou eie hart swaarder en donkerder maak. Whereas as jy volgende keer by 'n braaiplek is, of by 'n Sondag lunch, en daar kom weer iemand, 'n oom of 'n tannie of 'n auntie of wat ook al in met so gesprek en so stelling, bly net stil. Of smile net. Moenie jouself burden met hierdie swaar goeters wat jy anyway nie eers oorbeheer het nie. En soos Caitlin gesê het, so gaan jy sien jou kinders gaan daai attitude aanneem en hulle gaan mense as individue begin sien wat ook 'n behoefte het vir respek en liefde en daai tipe goeters, en ek gaan nou baie lank aangaan. Okay. Kinders by die syne, Caitlin, en dan kan ons kinders chommies wees.
Thank
Maar
you.
jy moet eers trou, Liam.
I'm going to play this podcast for you so you can listen.
Okay, cool. Thank you for coming to our TED Talk.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it. Anything else?
Now, that was really... Listen, I can go on forever and ever.
Ek weet, even me.
But we got to call it at some point. But yeah.
Okay, baie dankie. Los bietjie vir ons in die comment section iets, en as ons jou nou offended, ek hoop jy ons het nie. Ons het dit regtig soos in liefde probeer doen.
We try to do it as PC as possible. Listen, these are the things that happen in the world and it need to be discussed.
Ja, honestly, want as ons sê, as ek nie my sê gaan sê nie, gaan my sê namens my gesê word, en dan is daar ander...
Word!
Do you even listen to my podcast? Daar is ander mense wat soos ek lyk, wat opinies het, en dis waar die association inkom. Omdat ek nie anderster optree nie, kleerling mense, onder andere Caitlin, op 'n ander manier gaan begin hanteer nie, en bewus word van my microaggressions nie, gaan ek geassosieer word en onder dieselfde kam geskeer word as X, Y, and Z, you know? So be the change you want to see in the world, do it
Yes.
with goeie quote.
With determination. Be the change you want to see in the world with determination and not obligation.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Okay. Wat 'n fees. Hoorie, okay, so nou is ek in post-production en ek het nou net na daai solid 50 minute klip geluister, en ek wil net nog met my hart met jou deel, net vir die laaste minuut of wat, is ek hoop jy het my hart hier agter raak gesien, en ek sien 'n samelewing waar ek en jy dit reg kry om een vir een uit te reik na ander mense. Weereens, ek gee nie om wat se kleur jou vel is nie, die punt bly staan. Ons is almal mense, en mense het almal behoeftes, en die challenge is om te kyk hoe jy ander mense op daai vlak kan ontmoet en net in liefde te leef. So sterkte daarmee. Ek weet dit is baie keer moeilik, en ek weet baie keer is ons oorlaai met emosies, en dis rof om sekere dinge in ons land raak te sien, en dan onwillekeurig die association in jou kop te maak met mense wat dalk lyk soos die misdadiger wat jy gelees het op die rapport. En nou outomaties gebeur daai association in jou kop, en is vir jou moeilik om nie almal onder dieselfde kam te skeer nie. Maar dit het my lewe verander. En dit klink nou dramatic, maar dit het regtig. En as ek vir jou sê, daar's 'n baie ligter gevoel aan my binnekant, omdat ek nie met soveel burdens op my skouers loop nie. En ek sê nie jy moet naïef deur die lewe gaan en jouself in gevaarlike situasies plaas, net omdat jy liefde aan almal wil betoon nie. Dis nie wat ek sê nie, jy het 'n kop op jou skouer. Pas discernment en wysheid toe. Maar ek wil jou aanmoedig om mense op 'n human, op 'n menslike vlak te ontmoet. En meisies jou ouderdom te sien, mans jou ouderdom te sien, vir wie hulle regtig is, dat hulle mense is met behoeftes, en hopelik kan jy ook vriende maak. Dit is pretty lekker. Regtig lekker as jy soos meer vriende kan maak, en ek wil hê jy moet in daai joy saam met kan deel. Okay, TTYL, volgende episode, dus ek weet nie wanneer nie, maar ek sal jou op hoogte hou op social media. Los 'n comment as jy hierdie gelove het. Okay, dankie dat jy hier is. Ek's Minke, I'll catch you soon.